I get so many questions about dating just because people know that I'm transgender and they're like, well, what's it like? And how do you meet guys? And all of these questions. And I welcome those questions, honestly. So I figured I might as well just talk about it to you guys today. Um, so many people want to know what's it like dating and where do I meet guys? Um, you know, First of all, it is hard dating as it is, but add to that being transgender, and then add to that being transgender and in the public eye, and it just makes for even more of a crazy situation. So I thought I'd just kind of run down for you guys what it's like, just so you give you some insight. I will say this is my experience. It's not the same for everybody, although I will tell you, the friends that I have that are transgender, we all share similar stories, and we get together, we talk about this, and it's just like, girl, this is what it's like, and it's, so if you're transgender and you're dating on, a dating site, you might identify with this. Again, this is my story, but it seems to be a common story. But, hey, here it is. So the first thing is why I like dating online. I will say that the reason that I like dating online is it just seems to be easier. In the past, when I meet a guy, if I'm somewhere out or on the street or wherever, and not at my show. People, for some reason, think that I meet guys at my show. No, not at all. No one ever comes up to me and says, hey, I want to take you out on a date in a meet and greet. Never happens. But it's easier when I meet somebody on the streets or, out in public. If they come up to me and they think I'm cute and they want to talk to me, whatever, and the conversation might be flowing, or, there might be a mutual attraction. The problem is eventually I have to say, hey, I got something to tell you. Or, we exchange numbers and I have to text them, just so you know, before we go any further, I'm transgender. And if there was an attraction there's sometimes a letdown. If there was a good conversation and they're not into me being transgender, there is a letdown. So I figured that with online dating, it is just so much easier for me to just say, hey, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. And online dating is popular right now. But for me, I just feel like I can give you a good feel of who I am, but also what I am. The fact that I'm transgender is not for everybody. And it just kind of, pushes all that aside and, lets people, decide whether they want to be with me or date me or get to know me. And if they can handle the fact that I am transgender. So the dating site that I'm on is Tinder. And I've had some success on Tinder, and I've had some not so successful moments on Tinder. And I can't believe I'm going to share this with you guys, but this is my profile. My profile is, I try to show different sides of my personality, or looks, I guess. It's very important. I've learned for a lot of guys to see your body, just, because sometimes girls just post selfies, and I post my selfies and also my body and different hairstyles, because I change my hair a lot, so it's like, get used to that. I do not post anything on my Tinder about what I do. I don't post any professional looking pictures, that may look model-esque. And I also don't post that I am an entertainer. If they ask me, I will tell them that I am an entertainer. The problem with when I say that I'm an entertainer, people for some reason think I mean stripper. Nothing's wrong with being a stripper. I'm just happen to not be a stripper. They think like, oh, are you in some kind of exotic entertainer? Are you like an adult entertainer? And I'm like, nope, not a porn star, but okay, thanks for playing. So I just, post pictures that, selfies, and also body pictures, sometimes gym-esque pictures, because that's a part of my life. And I also put a disclaimer on my profile that says, the first thing that says, I'm transgender. That's the first thing. So you can't say you didn't see, or you didn't read it. I'm transgender. If that's not your thing, move away from my profile, because if you're not into me, I'm not going to be into you either. Like, I'm not into guys who are not into transgender girls. Like, well, that would be pointless and counterproductive. So that's how my profile goes. And then I put some of my interest and what I like to do and, what I'm looking for. So swiping right or left on guys, I tend to shy away from, profiles that are, that don't have more than one picture, or profiles that have pictures of, and that's another story. Like I could totally do a whole tutorial on guys, what you should be posting on your Tinder, what you shouldn't be posting. Like don't post a bunch of pictures of, like, just as a rule, don't post pictures of yourself with another girl. If she's your sister, your mom, whatever, it looks bad. I've seen guys post pictures of girls and they have like, the girl's face blurred out, and I'm like, that makes no sense at all. Like, just because you thought it was a good picture of you, just take a selfie or something. But that's a whole other thing, and I might actually do a video on that, what, like, not to do on your Tinder profile. Not that I'm an expert, but I should be by now, like, since I've been on Tinder for a while now. But I swipe right on guys that I'm attracted to, obviously. I try to read the profile before swiping. Not everybody does. It would behoove you to do that. Because I've had guys that swipe right on me and did not read the profile at all. They're just swiping right, so, just like see a pretty girl and they decide that, they think I'm cute. And then when I message them, they're like, oh man, I didn't know that you were a dude. And I'm like, I'm not a dude. I'm transgender, be respectful. Or I just immediately delete them. Like, it's just sort of like, why are you even messaging me at this point? Just unmatch me. And that happens also. I get unmatched all the time. And I know that it's because that I'm transgender. The other thing is I get reported a lot. My profile gets reported a lot. I've been blocked several times from Tinder. A few times I've had to email them and they said, just wait it out. Everyone's welcome here on Tinder. People tend to block me, or not block me, report me on Tinder simply because they think that I shouldn't be on there because I'm transgender. And Tinder assured me, I got this in an email, that all people are welcome here. And, it's in my profile. So why are you, like, just reading is fundamental, people, So I don't understand why they're not just reading the profile and just swipe left. But they just, if they read it there, they will report me. And if you get reported I can talk. If you get reported a lot of times, they will block you until they investigate it. And then once they've investigated, they will see that it's just because you're transgender, and then they'll just reinstate your profile. But it's happened to me more times than I can count. It's probably happened, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 times. But it's crazy that people just feel like I don't have a right to be there and in their dating pool. So they just report me. Now, I've talked about the guys who don't read the profile, and it is so unnerving because it's just sort of like we're talking, and I'll always ask this question. So how do you feel about me being transgender? And they're like, what? You're transgender? And then every now and then a guy will say to me, I read your profile. I'm okay with it, just so you know. And then I'll have those guys that are like, oh, I didn't read that, but you're really cool. Like, maybe I could still get to know you. Like, maybe we could be friends, whatever, see how it goes. But I get those guys that say they want to try it, or they want to experiment. Now, I say on my profile, I'm not your experiment. I'm not looking for friends with benefits. I'm not looking to be your dirty little secret. I get guys that are like, can we keep this between us? And I'm like, what? I'm on a dating site. Like, I'm not looking to date secretly, I want a private relationship, but I don't want a secret relationship. And I definitely don't want to be your dirty little secret. So I get guys that will say, so I had to put a disclaimer on there, but I still get a guy that thinks that he just might be cute enough for me to say, hey, it's okay that you want me to, like, I'll, let you experiment on me all you want. No, absolutely not. My self-esteem is just way too high for that at this point in my life. There might be people that are okay with it. I just want to say to you, as a transgender woman, you are worth so much more than being somebody's secret, and you deserve to be with someone who is proud of you. And proud to be with you. I would much rather be single than be with the wrong person. That's the one thing that's worse than being single, is being with the wrong person. My grandmother used to actually say that all the time. But yeah, so I get those guys that, won't read, and then they realize, and then they're okay. And then I get the guys that are just like, like, oh, I want to try it. Nope. The other thing is I get reported a lot. My profile gets reported a lot. I've been blocked several times from Tinder. A few times I've had to email them and they said, just wait it out. Everyone's welcome here on Tinder. People tend to block me, or not block me, report me on Tinder simply because they think that I shouldn't be on there because I'm transgender. And Tinder assured me, I got this in an email, that all people are welcome here. And, it's in my profile. So why are you, just reading is fundamental, people, So I don't understand why they're not just reading the profile and just swipe left. But they just, if they read it there, they will report me. And if you get reported a few more, excuse me, I can talk. If you get reported a lot of times, they will block you until they investigate it. And then once they've investigated, they will see that it's just because you're transgender, and then they'll just reinstate your profile. But it's happened to me more times than I can count. It's probably happened, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 times. But it's crazy that people just feel like I don't have a right to be there in their dating pool. So they just report me. Now, I've talked about the guys who don't read the profile, and it is so unnerving because it's just sort of like we're talking, and I'll always ask this question. So how do you feel about me being transgender? And they're like, what? You're transgender? And then every now and then a guy will say to me, I read your profile. I'm okay with it, just so you know. And then I'll have those guys that are like, oh, I didn't read that, but you're really cool. Like, maybe I could still get to know you. Like, maybe we could be friends, whatever, see how it goes. But I get those guys that say they want to try it or they want to experiment. Now, I say on my profile, I'm not your experiment. I'm not looking for friends with benefits. I'm not looking to be your dirty little secret. I get guys that are like, can we keep this between us? And I'm like, what? I'm on a dating site. Like, I'm not looking to date secretly, I want a private relationship, but I don't want a secret relationship. And I definitely don't want to be your dirty little secret. So I get guys that will say, so I had to put that disclaimer on there, but I still get a guy that thinks that he just might be cute enough for me to say, hey, it's okay that you want me to, I'll, let you experiment on me all you want. No, absolutely not. My self-esteem is just way too high for that at this point in my life. There might be people that are okay with it. I just want to say to you, as a transgender woman, you are worth so much more than being somebody's secret, and you deserve to be with someone who is proud of you. And I would proud to be with you. I would much rather be single than be with the wrong person. That's the one thing that's worse than being single, is being with the wrong person. My grandmother used to actually say that all the time. But yeah, so I get those guys that, won't read, and then they realize, and then they're okay. And then I get the guys that are just like, I want to try it. Nope. Now, this I wasn't even going to mention, but because it makes it sound like, oh, I'm so whatever. But there are people who think that my profile is fake. And if they know who I am and know that, I'm in entertainment, they'll think that I've gotten text messages before with a screenshot that says, somebody's using your pictures. And I'm like, no, it's me. And people think well, what are you here? Why are you here? And if a guy finds out, because they ask, well, what do you do? And I tell them, and they're like, wow, you're famous. What are you doing on here? Why, whatever. I don't know why people think that famous people or people in the public eye or people that are well known or people in entertainment, that it's so easy to find somebody, or that we just want to date people that are in the entertainment industry, because that's just not always the case. So I just say, I'm here for the reasons that you are. I'm here looking for, I'm looking to date. I'm looking to find someone to be with. I lead without expectation, but, hopefully, if it turns into something, I'm open to that too. And they sometimes think, well, you're not real. You can't be real. And then I will say, well, hit me up on Instagram. And then they see that I'm the person on Instagram that responds back to them. And they're like, oh, you are real. This is so, and then every now and then I get the guy that's just like, wow, I've never dated a famous person before. And I'm like, unmatched. I want you to just date me. That's why I don't tell you who I am, And I actually put my middle name on my profile. just because it's just easier than them trying to like Google me at first, even though they're going to do it anyway. So it's like, whatever. But I do use my middle name there, and then I tell them the name that I go by. And some of them prefer to still call me by my middle name, but whatever. Now, every now and then I get a guy, and actually not every now and then, it happens more oftentimes than I wish for it to happen. I get a guy who is really vulgar, or a guy who, like, the first message they send me or the first question they ask me is like, are you fully changed? Or they'll ask, you know, how big are you? And I'll say I'm 5'6". Like, that's how tall I am. And I know what they're asking, but it's just like so disgusting. Like the kinds of things that guys say and approach, and, you know, the way that they approach sometimes is just absolutely insane. And I will report that, or either I'll just unmatch it. Because just no woman deserves that. And I always ask the question to myself, and I used to ask it to them, but I feel like it's just pointless. Like, would you, if I were not transgender, would you come at me like that? Like, I know for a fact that you would not come at a girl who was not trans. You think that it's just easier to talk to us that way. Like, there are guys who will talk to trans women in a vulgar way and get overtly sexual and too sexual too soon, just because we're transgender. And that's just not the right approach. We're women, we're human beings just like everybody else, and we deserve to be respected. And for some reason, I get guys that will ask the most insane questions about my body or about sexual preferences, and it's just sort of like, hi, you didn't even say hello first. And even I'll get some guys that the worst part of it is, I find a guy who is great conversation. How's your day going? What are you into? Like, what do you like to do for fun? All these different things. And then they will go straight into the like sexual stuff. And I'm just like, what exactly are you looking for? Because why did you come at me like that? What makes you think that it's okay? Like, what in my profile made you think that it was okay to disrespect me in that way? Then I get the guys who want to know, what is your Snapchat? I know why they're asking for a Snapchat. Don't fall for it, sis. The reason they're asking for a Snapchat is they want to be able to send you messages, and those messages go away immediately, so that you can't like prove that they were talking to you. Not that you're trying to expose them or anything, but they also want you to send them naked pictures of yourself, and they want to send you naked pictures, and they go away immediately. And they feel like Snapchat is a safe space. So they'll say like, what's your Snapchat? And I'll say, I don't have Snapchat. And I don't have Snapchat. I actually got rid of Snapchat when Instagram came out with Instagram stories. So I don't need Snapchat anymore. I don't need to follow it. Like, it's just pointless. Everything's on Instagram now. Like, Snapchat to me is like, who even gets on Snapchat anymore? But people will ask that. And the reason a lot of people still have Snapchat is so that they can message, and those messages immediately go away. But I don't fall for it. So if I get to the point of exchanging numbers with a guy and we're talking, we're getting to know each other, they'll ask for a picture other than the ones they saw on Instagram. And sometimes I'll just volunteer just a quick selfie or something. And I'll ask them for a picture, because a lot of guys don't have a ton of pictures on their Snapchat. On their Tinder. But yeah, we start texting, and sometimes we all get that unsolicited dick pic it's like, oh, come on. Like no one wants that. Like, unless you ask for it, no one wants to see that picture, and it's never the most flattering thing. And then I know exactly where their heads are. Like, that tells me a lot. Like, oh crap, I really liked you. Damn. Now I'm sitting here with this picture that lets me know that that's all you're looking for. And I will go in on them sometimes, and then sometimes I'll just ghost them, because that's just crazy to me. But sometimes that objectification that I was talking about earlier comes when the text messages come, because they want to reel you in, and they got your number, and they want to send you pictures. But my block game is so crazy, and so like, I'm just like, I live to block. Like, blocking is the best thing they ever invented on cell phones. Let me tell you, whoever invented the block button, I just want to kiss you, because it's just nuts. Like, the things that people will send, it's and every now and then, I mean, it's it's not always the situation, but I do get some guys that are great, with texting and are consistent texters. And then it ends up going on a date. We end up going on a date. And that always is a great thing if a guy wants to go on a date. Because then it lets me know that he's not afraid to be seen with a trans woman in public, or that he's not trying to hide me, and that he is a gentleman. But I so often get guys who say that they want to come over to my place and they will bring a bottle of wine and we can sit and talk. Don't fall for that. First of all, it's 2020. Why is that okay? Like, what, like, first of all, we know that's probably going to end in something sexual. And even if it doesn't, it's not that safe, because I don't know you. We just got to know each other. Like, we haven't met in a public setting. I prefer to meet someone in a public setting first, because if I don't know, like, you could be an axe murderer and come to my house and just completely, I'm very selective about people knowing where I live and how I live and what's in my place. Like, I'm just not into that. And so I get guys that are just like, oh, I just want to chill and, like, you know, just whatever. I'm like, we can go to a coffee shop. We can go on a walk somewhere. Like, if it's about, you know, you whining and dining me and not knowing whether it's worth it yet. If that's the case, if you want to have a first conversation that way, a first date that way. But you're not coming over my house, dude. Like, I bring in a bottle of wine, none of that. Because in my experience, when that has happened, it always leads to sex, and then you get ghosted, and it's just sort of like, okay, this guy just wanted to experiment on you. It just wanted to try, see what it was like, or see if you looked as passable in person, whatever. I think a first date, the best first date is a lunch date or a coffee date, because you're in the middle of the day, and there you've got, you know, you can say, I've got something else to do, whether it was a good date or not. You can, you know, plan other things after that, you know, so that you know, it's a quick date, and then you can plan for a second date that's longer, maybe in the evening. But I definitely do not subscribe to the come over my house and let's, you know, drink a bottle of wine and see where everything goes, because that, I know exactly where you're trying to get it to go. And I'm just not that type of girl. But let me just say this. If you are that type of girl, and if you are, just be careful. Like, if you want a one-night stand, or if you want to get sexual or want somebody over your place, that's fine too. There's no judgment there. But as a trans woman, we have to be extra careful, because so many people, we hear of so many people with their necks sliced or in a ditch somewhere or dead in their place, and we do not want that happening to our trans girls. People are killing trans girls at an alarming rate, and especially trans women of color, and it's just, you know, we want everybody to be safe. Like I said, I've had good experiences and I've had bad experiences. Nothing like super bad, like nothing horrible has happened, but just like, you know, the standard horrible date. I've had guys that were absolutely obsessed with me being trans, and all they wanted to talk about was that. And that was a little creepy too. That was a little weird. But I've also met some guys. I've met guys that I've dated for longer than just, you know, 1 or 2 dates. And for whatever reason, didn't work out. But it wasn't because I was trans, or because they were a trans chaser, or because they were, and we'll talk about that in another, what a trans chaser is. You know, I've had both good and bad experiences. Obviously, nothing has stuck because I'm still on Tinder. And, you know, so there's that. But I just think, you know, if you, the thing that I want to say is, if you're going on a date online, always be careful, no matter who you are, whether you're trans or not, especially if you're trans, be careful who you let in your space, and make sure, you know, when you meet them at first, it's in a public place, and be upfront and clear about what you want. And don't settle for anything less than what you want, or anything less than respect. And, you know, we're done being dirty little secrets. It's 2020. Being somebody's dirty little secret is so 2010. So crazy. That's so antiquated. Like, we're not doing that anymore. Come on. We're not going to be anybody's secret. So you guys that want us to be your secret, good luck, because we're just not doing that anymore. We're done hiding. We're visible. And so, you know, if you want to date a trans girl and you want to meet her online, just be respectful. Do not be super creepy. And, you know, if you're creepy, you're just creepy. But, like, don't be so overtly sexual and fetishize her. That's just not what we're looking for. And if you're a trans girl, be careful and have fun. And good luck with online dating. I hope to talk about these subjects more. And if there's something specific that you want me to talk about, please comment. I'm not getting enough of you guys commenting. So please, please, please comment. Be sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell so you're notified whenever I have new videos out. It's been great talking to you guys. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.